Hey folks, Mark here from SeaWorld Earth, and welcome to this collection of videos where I aim to convey the basics of photography, with each subject being addressed in a simple and hopefully easy to follow overview, taking no more than around 2 minutes or so. So drag up a pew as we dive into my 2-minute TOG tips here on SeaWorld Earth. So you've been shooting automatic for a while, but you're starting to wonder about having greater artistic control over your photography. You've seen imagery online that you wish to emulate, but you're wondering, how the hell did the photographer do that? Now, photography, in its basic sense, is all about controlling light, and we do that via 3 main settings. These are aperture, shutter speed, and ISO. And today, we're going to look firstly at aperture. Now, if you look at the information on your LCD screen, you will see a number preceded by the letter F. This is your aperture setting, and it relates by way of numerical values the amount of opening that the iris of your lens is set at. You will notice that the numerical value rises and falls as you manipulate the jog dial associated with aperture control. Now, it's a bit of a tough concept to grasp for some, but the smallest number of the aperture range means that the lens opening is as wide as that particular lens allows. Now, seeing as not all lenses are the same, those numbers, lower and maximum numbers, may have differing minimum and maximum boundaries. Now, as a result, depending on the amount of opening of view that you opt to select, will determine how much light enters into the camera via your lens. Now, the aperture setting of your lens will also determine what is called the depth of field, or the perceived depth of focus going away from the viewer, but more about this in a future video. So here's a quick task that you can do that will explain to you and hopefully allow you to grasp the concept of apertures. Turn your camera to manual mode and select ISO 800. Now that we have ISO 800 selected, set your shutter speed to 1/60. There we go. If your camera has a touch LCD screen, that makes life a lot simpler. But if not, simply access the controls via their respective jog dials. Once you are set, simply half press your shutter release button, and somewhere along the exposure slider you will see a dot indicating the level of exposure for the settings that you have on your camera. If it sits exactly on the point of 0, it means that the camera is exposing correctly. Anything to the right of that slider suggests the image will be too bright or overexposed, and likewise underexposed if that indicator is anywhere to the left. The amount of under and overexposure will increase as the distance from the central balanced indicator increases. By rotating your aperture control dial, you will see how that in turn will determine the exposure of the camera with these settings applied. The smaller the number, the more light enters the camera, and in doing so pushes the camera more towards overexposure. And conversely, as the aperture number increases, the lens opening reduces, and thus reduces the amount of light going into the lens, which pushes the camera more towards underexposure. By ensuring that your exposure slider reaches or hits 0 each time, you will ensure correct exposure for your photography. But there are downsides, and downsides will be discussed in future videos. So there you have it, folks, a slightly longer than 2-minute overview of apertures. Please come back again soon for more of my 2-minute TOG tips here on SeaWorld Earth, and please don't forget to subscribe, like and share, as well as slamming that notifications bell so that you'll be notified as and when new 2-minute TOG tips and other videos are uploaded by yours truly. Please take care, folks. Stay safe, happy and sane, but above all, stay healthy, and I'll see you again, hopefully very soon, here on SeaWorld Earth. Cheers.